A glowing pill-shaped object appeared in the night sky over upstate New York, and people lost their minds. They pulled over their cars, they grabbed their phones, they flooded Facebook groups with photos and videos and breathless descriptions. "They're here," someone wrote. "Truly an amazing thing to witness," said another. Within hours, the footage had spread across every UFO forum, every mystery channel, every corner of the internet that follows this kind of thing, and everyone was convinced, absolutely convinced. Let's get into it. August 2025. Finger Lakes region, upstate New York. A slow-moving orb shrouded in a glowing mist appears in the night sky, pill-shaped, luminous, moving with a kind of deliberate, unhurried purpose that immediately separates it from anything people are used to seeing up there. Witnesses describe it as otherworldly. The photos are striking. The object glows against the dark sky in a way that looks genuinely unlike anything in most people's experience. And the community Facebook group, the local page where people normally post about lost dogs and road closures, suddenly becomes a hotbed of genuine UFO speculation. Now, before we get to what this actually was, and we are going to get there, I promise I want to spend some time on why this happened. Why hundreds of people looking at the same object in the same sky all arrived at the same conclusion. Because understanding that is actually more important than the object itself. The human brain is extraordinarily good at finding patterns, at finding shapes, at finding meaning in ambiguous visual information. It is so good at this that it does it even when there is nothing genuinely mysterious happening. A glowing object in the night sky triggers something deep and instinctive, something that has been wired into us for as long as we have been looking up. And before the rational mind has had a chance to catch up, the emotional mind has already decided what it is looking at, especially if that object does not match anything in your existing mental library. And that is the thing. Most people do not spend enough time looking at the sky to know what normal looks like. We do not know what rocket launches look like from 2 states away. We do not know what experimental military aircraft look like at altitude. We do not know what certain atmospheric phenomena do to light and clouds. And so, when something appears that does not match our existing categories, our brains, being the extraordinary pattern matching machines they are, create a new category. And sometimes that new category is not from here. This tendency, this beautiful, frustrating, deeply human tendency, is exactly what makes the UFO conversation so difficult to navigate, honestly. Because it means that a significant percentage of the sightings that circulate online every week are genuine misidentifications of completely ordinary things. And it also means that the people reporting them are not lying. They are not attention seeking. They genuinely saw something that their brain could not process within its existing framework. And that experience, that genuine, visceral experience of seeing something you cannot explain, feels exactly the same whether the object is extraordinary or completely mundane. Which is why the Finger Lakes sighting spread so fast. Which is why the reaction was so intense. Which is why trained observers, not just curious civilians, but people who spend their entire professional lives in the sky, sometimes get it wrong too. And on that note, let's talk about the Pentagon. Because on May 22nd, 2026, the Trump administration released a second batch of declassified files on unidentified anomalous phenomena. 5.6 gigabytes of video footage, audio recordings, and written accounts, spanning 80 years, from the 1940s all the way to 6 months ago. Military pilots, intelligence officers, NASA personnel. People who know the sky better than almost anyone on Earth, describing encounters they cannot explain. And within those files, alongside the genuinely inexplicable accounts, there are also things that were immediately debunked. A report from September 1948, a military crew flying at 30,000 feet over the Netherlands. They report an unidentified aircraft performing sudden accelerations and a climb that no known aircraft could execute. Extraordinary. the kind of account that sounds like it belongs in a serious UFO investigation. Within a few months, debunked. Intelligence officials identified it as a single propelled jet using rocket assist with enormous reserve power. Case closed. But not all of them were debunked. Not even close. One account involves a helicopter crew and an intelligence officer who watched a group of orbs match the speed and flight path of fighter jets that had been scrambled to intercept them. Not just appear nearby, match the speed and then appear to chase the jets. We were virtually speechless after these observations, the intelligence officer wrote. Speechless. A trained intelligence officer. Someone whose entire professional purpose is to observe, analyze, and find the rational explanation. Speechless. This is what the Pentagon files actually show us. Not a simple story, not everything is real, not everything is fake, a spectrum. 80 years of the most trained observers in the world encountering things in the sky, and the outcomes are all over that spectrum. Some explained immediately, some explained after months of investigation, some still unexplained after decades, and a handful like the orbs that chased the fighter jets that made decorated intelligence officers reach for a word like speechless. And here's what I think matters most about all of this. The existence of misidentifications does not disprove the unexplained cases. And the existence of unexplained cases does not mean that every sighting is genuine. Both things are true simultaneously. The challenge, the genuinely difficult, genuinely important challenge, is figuring out which is which. And the Pentagon files tell us that even the most sophisticated military intelligence apparatus in human history, with 80 years of practice, has not fully solved that challenge. So, back to upstate New York, back to the glowing pill-shaped object over the Finger Lakes. Back to the hundreds of people who pulled over their cars and grabbed their phones and flooded their community Facebook page with the absolute certainty that they were witnessing something extraordinary. They were not wrong to look up. They were not wrong to wonder. They were not wrong to feel that something in the sky did not match their existing understanding of what belongs up there. But the object that caused all of that, the glowing, luminous, slowly moving orb that spread across every UFO forum and mystery channel within hours, was the planned launch of the Vulcan Centaur rocket by the United Launch Alliance from Cape Canaveral in Florida, publicly announced on the schedule. Completely unremarkable to anyone who knew to look for it. Extraordinary to everyone who did not. A rocket. The entire thing was a rocket. And that is not an embarrassing ending to the story. That is the most important part of it. Because what it tells you is this: the feeling of witnessing something unexplained is not evidence that what you witnessed was actually unexplained. The intensity of the reaction, the certainty of the witnesses, the viral spread of the footage, none of that tells you anything about what the object actually was. The only thing that tells you what the object was is investigation. Patient, honest, rigorous investigation. Which is exactly what the Pentagon has been doing for 80 years. And which is why their files contain both the 1,948 Netherlands case explained and the orbs that chase the fighter jets still not explained. Because investigation sometimes produces answers. And sometimes it produces speechless intelligence officers writing notes that stay classified for decades. Most of what gets shared as UFO footage is not what people think it is. But some of it, a small percentage, a stubbornly persistent percentage that 80 years of classified military investigation has not been able to account for, is genuinely something else. The Finger Lakes object was a rocket. But the orbs that matched the speed of an F-22 and appeared to chase it, nobody has explained that yet. See you in the next one.